So shalom, shalom again, and happy Yom Yerushalayim. That is Happy Jerusalem Day. This is a day commemorating the unification of the city of Jerusalem on June 7, 1967, when the Israeli army took back the city for the first time since the destruction of the temple in 70 AD. It was on this day that the Temple Mount and the Western world were, and after 2,000 years, under the control of the Jewish people of Israel. According to the Hebrew calendar, this birthday occurred yesterday, and it was a day of great rejoicing in Jerusalem. It is an important birthday for Bible believers, and it also marks an awakening of the major end-time prophecies. As Yeshua said, learn the parable from the fig tree. When its branch has already become tender and puts forth its leaves, you know that summer is near. And it was close to 2,000 years later, on June 7, 1967, when the fig tree put forth its leaves, with Israel's capital, Jerusalem, coming under Jewish authority. So it is actually for us a major date. Yerushalayim, Jerusalem, has a long history. 3,000 years ago, it became Israel's capital city when King David conquered it and made it the seat of his monarchy. Since then, Jerusalem has been built and destroyed. You know how many times? 17 times. Besieged over 45 times. In the Bible, it takes a dominant place. It is mentioned 671 times in the Hebrew Scriptures and 142 times in the New Testament, with a total of 813 times. But this is not all. For we will remember this name for eternity. Consider the name given to heaven in the book of Revelation. You know what it is? The New Jerusalem. As for its place in our planet, did you know that the Lord considers this city as the center of the world? You know, if you look at a map, it doesn't look like the center of the world, but for God, it is. Ezekiel the prophet specifically addressed the return of the Jewish people to their homeland in 1948. In these prophecies, and there God says, the people who are gathered from the nations, speaking of the return of the Jews to the land, he says, who live at the center of the world, that is Israel. Ezekiel 38:12. The word center in the Hebrew tabor also means the highest point. Because Jerusalem is the place that God chose, this is why this city is also the center of so many conflicts. So many people claim ownership of this city. The Muslims, those Christians, that is, those who are replacement in their theology. And then we have the Jews laying claim. But to whom does Jerusalem belong to? God said in Leviticus 25:23, speaking of the whole land of Israel, the land is mine, he says. And her land, having been deserted of its owners for so long, the Lord sees himself as being a sojourner with Israel. It is his, for this is where Yeshua will come back to establish his kingdom, and this will come to pass very soon today. This being God's land, and in full sovereignty of ownership, he gave it to an inheritance to the Jewish people, through a promise made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. In fact, according to Genesis 17:8, it was to be an everlasting possession to Abraham and his descendants. It was to this people alone that the land actually is given. And for the Jewish people living in Israel, this day of Yom Yerushalayim, you know that it awakens a Messianic hope, so much so that you know that the chief rabbinate in Israel has ruled that the Hallel should be recited on Yom Yerushalayim. The Hallel are Psalm 113 to 118, and these are sung actually to usher the Messiah. Psalm 118 was recorded as being sung by the people of Jerusalem during Yeshua's triumphal entry, if you remember. This then is the great importance of the city of Jerusalem, and especially the importance it has in Bible prophecy. And one last remark, we need to make here. During this last major uprising and conflict, Israel's enemy, launched no less than 1,500 rockets on Jewish towns, including the city of Tel Aviv, and as far as Jerusalem, We know that the many casualties were on both sides, and our heart, by the way, go out to all the families who lost some dear ones. War always brings such tragedy and suffering. One fact that stood out is that while these rockets were fired on civil population, on only one person, one Israeli died of all these rocket attacks. Their defense system, by the way, did a very good job, but they could not stop all the barrage of rockets on Jewish homes. The odds are so small that so many rockets weren't successful in their targeting, and so we know that the Lord continues to protect and oversees Israel. If you want to see God in action, follow the news in Israel. We're keeping an eye on this city, which the Lord spoke about in Ezekiel, that he will set this city as the center of all the nations. And this will become an even greater reality as we move actually towards the very end times.